Good evening. I am Arachna the Spider People, your hostess with the mostess. And welcome to Beware Theater, because this Beware you're gonna see some really bad movies. We've got vampires, aliens, werewolves, monsters, and of course, the undead. So take a load off, pull up a couch, and fasten your seatbelt. It's gonna be a creepy night. Tonight, we watch 1943 horror comedy Revenge of the Zombies. It was a low-budget Poverty Road production, directed by Steve Silicki, produced by Monogram Pictures, and it starred John Carradine. Revenge of the Zombies was also kind of a sequel to the 1941 King of the Zombies, except, well, it did its own thing. It had a different cast except for 2 people, and, well, it just wasn't as funny. So people who were expecting more of the same were disappointed. Sorry. Revenge of the Zombies is about a Nazi scientist in the Louisiana bayou who is experimenting on how to turn regular people into obedient zombies that can't be killed or starved to death, so they can be turned into a Nazi army so Germany can win the war and rule the world. Well, the joke's on the doctor when he turns his wife into a zombie. And then her brother brings a doctor and a private detective down to the bayou to find out what happened to her. And let's just say things don't go the way the doctor had hoped. There's lots of old school zombies, you know, the ones that walk around and don't eat you, Nazi heel clicking, a secret radio, a beautiful naive secretary, hound dogs, and disappearing bodies. So now we watch Revenge of the Zombies.
Get picks, shovels, go to work. You, Pete, watch Dr. Keating's house.
You wait here, Death.
Yeah?
We won't be long. Scott, my dear boy, I've been watching for you. Harry Adams, Dr. Keating. I brought him along to investigate this matter. Glad to know you.
How do you do, Doc?
Come in. Drink?
Please. Thanks, Doc.
I came as soon as I received your wire. It was a shock.
You don't seriously think there was anything irregular about Madame von Alterman's death, do you, Doctor?
I feel quite sure of it. The circumstances were too suspicious to be ignored. My sister died suddenly? Very. I met her only the day before, and she seemed well enough then. From what I can learn, the attack began with a feeling of drowsiness. In a few hours, she passed into a coma from which she never awakened. I made a determined effort to see her, but Dr. von Alterman refused me permission. So what could I do? He was her attending physician as well as her husband.
Refused you? But you've known Lila all her life.
The death certificate specifies a heart attack, but I know of no heart ailment indicated by those symptoms.
They suggested something more sinister?
They suggested poison.
Finished, Master. It will do. Take it out.
But what can we do now?
See to it that your sister is buried immediately.
Well, let's go then. I'm getting kind of curious to meet this guy.
Can you tell us if any of the servants are left there who might recognize me?
No, von Alterman got rid of them all. But you've been away a good many years. I don't think anyone around here is likely to remember you except me. But why do you ask?
Since von Alterman doesn't know him, I intend to pass myself off as Scott Warrington, while Scott pretends to be me. Then if any funny business starts, I can handle it.
But you feel sure you can carry through such an imposture?
For a while, anyway. Until we have time to make up our minds about this guy.
We can go in my car.
I only hope we're still in time.
And tan and the curly hair, shoes and stockings are bouncing wet on the ragtag. I'm in the groove, ain't I? Holy jumping Jupiter. Mr. Scott! Mr. Scott!
What's the matter, Jack?
Is you all right?
Well, why shouldn't I be all right?
On account of the face that I saw peeking at me in them bushes.
Face? What face?
Right over there in them bushes.
What's the matter with you, Jeff? There's no one in here.
They're all right. They're right there. Mr. Beelzebub, the devil himself. Mr. Larry, I'm going to get out of here.
Now, take it easy, Jack.
You sure come a long way to find trouble.
You saw anyone? It was probably just one of the natives.
Natives from where? Ordinary people don't go around with horns. Mr. Larry, I saw them sprouting out of their heads.
Oh, don't be foolish, Jack. What are you trying to do, scare us?
With the competition I got around here, I can't scare nobody. Mr. Larry, I saw him looking at me just as plain as day, with big red fire eyes, with wiggling horns, and lashing tails.
Then what happened?
Then they disappeared in the smoke, blue smoke with red spots in it.
Well, we can't waste any more time around here. Let's go over and see what Dr. Von Alderman has to say.
Them the best words I heard tonight. Let's go. Mr. Scott, you want me to wait here by myself again?
Yes, right here.
Good evening, Mammy Bueller. This is Mr. Warrington. Please tell your master he is here.
Mr. Warrington, the master's going to be real pleased to see him. This way, gentlemen, if you please. The light done bumped out on us here in this hall. Dr. Keating done brung Mr. Warrington.
Mr. Warrington, really?
I'm Scott Warrington. Dr. Keating, you know, of course. This is my friend, Larry Adams.
I'm Jennifer Rand, Dr. Von Alterman's secretary. You heard?
Yes, Dr. Keating notified me.
Dr. Von Alterman wanted to, but he didn't know how to reach you. Must have been a dreadful shock. It was to us.
A great shock.
You better find your master and tell him Madame Von Alterman's brother is here. I think he's in the chapel with her.
Well,
My brother has come, Mr. Warrington.
I will come at once. See to the body of your mistress, quickly. Understand?
I'll take care of her, like I always take care of them.
Miss Rand, have you been with Von Alterman long?
About 6 months now.
Then you must have seen a good deal of my sister.
Naturally, I live here in the house, you see.
I understand the attack came on quite suddenly. She hadn't been ill, and
No, even Dr. Von Alterman had no idea her heart was weak. She was so active always, and she looked so well.
Yes, so I understand.
You know, it frightens one a little to realize how swiftly these things can happen.
I should think it might. Tell me, you like Von Alterman and the work here?
Very much indeed. He's been awfully patient with me and kind. See, I'm not very competent, really. In fact, I had a hard time getting a place before I came here.
And my sister, was he very kind to her, too?
Kind? Why, he worshipped her. I've never seen...
One of you, I understand, is Mr. Wellington.
I'm sorry our meeting has to be under such circumstances.
We should have met long before. You should have written your sister.
But she never wrote.
She was very bitter. But it would please her, I think, that you've come now.
Dr. Keating, you know, of course. This is my friend, Larry Adams.
I'm very happy to welcome you, Mr. Adams, even in this time of trouble. You remain for the funeral, of course.
If you'll be good enough to have it soon.
Tomorrow. Here in the South, it is not wise to waste time. Many things can happen. Jennifer, my dear, would you be kind enough to see that rooms are prepared for our guests?
Certainly.
You're very kind.
If we won't be intruding, I have the servant with me, too. My driver.
You're all very welcome, I'm sure. The storm must have made the roads impossible.
May we see Lila?
Certainly. This way.
Brother, you sure startled me. Is you from New York? You see, I just got...
Master say drive car to garage. Gentleman staying the night.
Yeah?
Here,
Yeah?
here.
Well, you see, what I was going to say was...
Beautiful car. I drove car like this for master
Yeah?
when I was alive.
Oh, when you was alive? When you was alive? That did it. Wait. Waiting for me, honey?
That's right. I'm to show you the way to the house.
You've been this close to me all the time, and I've been wasting my time out front.
Of course not. I just came to fetch you.
What detained you, woman? I never did think I could find anything that looked like you around this place.
And you wouldn't if I could get away.
You don't like this place, and I don't like this place. What are we waiting for?
My Aunt, Mammy Beulah, she won't give me the money to go north. I'm getting out of here if I have to walk. I hate this place, and I don't like what's going on here lately.
What's going on here lately?
You'll find out soon enough.
What will I find out?
You'll see with your own eyes.
What will I see?
Things walking. Ain't got no business walking.
What thing?
You want to see?
Now, wait a
I'll
minute.
show you.
Wait a minute, honey. I don't insist in seeing nothing. Wait a minute. Is it much further?
No.
Not that must have given you the line guidance, didn't it, honey? Dang! Man, these Miss Dry good.
Here is cemetery.
I thank you. But I got to go home. I forgot something.
What you forget.
I forgot to stay there.
Don't be afraid. Dead can't hurt you.
No, but they'll make you hurt yourself. What was that?
Just a zombie.
Just a zombie? I don't know where you at, but 30 seconds from now, I'm going to be 11 miles away from here. Goodbye.
Before I go on, I do need to point out that back when this movie was made, acting opportunities for African Americans was pretty much limited to servant-type roles with demeaning dialogue. Now, Mantan Moreland and Madame Sultiwan kind of reprised the roles that they had in King of the Zombies. And they, plus the maid, who's played by Sybil Lewis, pretty much carry this movie. The rest of the actors, not so much. Now we discovered that there are more dangerous things in the Louisiana bayou than just snakes and alligators, because creepy Dr. Van Alderman, he is doing questionable research in his mansion laboratory, like turning the locals into zombie workers who come when called, who work without food and without complaining because, well, they're dead, or rather undead. And Dr. Van Alderman's house staff, even though they are alive, they're pretty creepy too. So what else is he doing in that laboratory? Poisoning his wife, for one thing. Unfortunately for the doctor, his wife has a caring brother, Scott, who, when he hears of her death, hires a private detective, gets a doctor, and comes to the laboratory to find out what happened to his sister. Why is he bringing another doctor? I mean, it's a little late for a second opinion, don't you think? And what's with Scott and Larry the detective wanting to switch identities? Dr. Van Alderman hasn't met either one of them before, so what does it matter who they are? And Deadly, what? What's that noise? Oh, somebody's calling zombies. Oh, wait, Deadly, where are you going? Wait, you're not a zombie. Well, he is dead, and he does walk around.
I'm sure you'll excuse me, gentlemen. I should like to spend the last few moments with my wife. Lazarus will conduct you to your rooms.
We can take turns if you like, or all watch together.
You really think it's necessary?
I think it imperative that we see that no unholy rites are performed over Lila's body.
Call her, Lazarus, but softly.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but I got to be with somebody that I know.
What's the matter?
Well, my head keep telling my feet that there ain't no zombies, but my feet ain't convinced.
Zombies?
Yes, you know, I know it ain't nothing like that when I'm with friends in the light, but when I'm in the dark, I trust nobody.
You're drunk.
No, I ain't. I've been running. Ain't nothing that what I've seen come out of no bottle.
Lila. Lila. Go. Go to the laboratory.
Lila!
It's a trick of some kind.
It must be.
She's been drugged.
I wish I could encourage you to think so, but I'm afraid my fears have been realized.
You still think she's dead and he's able to make her walk?
How ridiculous. Impossible.
I'm sorry, Doc, but I'm afraid I feel the same way about it. Let's find Von Alderman, tell him what we've seen, and see how he works it out.
Read what I dictated this afternoon, please.
It is my hypothesis that metabolism, although vital to prenatal and adolescent development, is not essential in later life. Tissues and cells, once fully matured, can be sustained indefinitely by a process of inter-refrigeration.
Yes? Yes, what is it?
Sorry to disturb you, but something quite unbelievable has happened.
Yes?
The body of your wife is not in the casket.
My dear fellow, you're talking absolute nonsense.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, we just saw her leave it.
You saw her leave it?
Exactly.
We all did.
What's the meaning of it?
Forgive me, but what you say is clearly impossible. You've been on guard here since I left you?
Yes, master.
Icy cold.
Have you a small mirror, Miss Rand?
Oh, yes.
She's not breathing. But look, she's smiling now. She wasn't before.
How can you all behave like this? It's cruel. It's unpardonable.
You've had a long trip and are perhaps overtired. Our nerves sometimes play us strange tricks. Here we go.
Master say, follow me.
Very good.
Come in.
Dr. von Alterman?
Commander von Hofmannsthal has received a report from me that my experiment is now successfully completed.
Yes, Doctor. He sent me to inquire into the nature of it.
Is he prepared to arrange my transportation home?
Yes, I'm to arrange that. Will there be much apparatus?
Naturally. And one subject to demonstrate my achievement. You shall see. Go to the chapel. Sound the call.
Would you explain your experiment to me, Dr. von Alterman?
Certainly. Please sit down. I've already tried to explain it, and they wouldn't believe me.
I am prepared to supply my country with a new army, numbering as many thousands as are required.
A new army?
An army that will not need to be fed, that cannot be stopped by bullets, that is, in fact, invincible.
Sounds impossible. An army of robots or automatons?
An army of the living dead.
What?
Surely you heard me drilling them before you knocked at the door?
I heard something.
Wait. Come a few steps closer, my dear. My wife does not answer your greeting because she's dead.
Dead?
Approach her and satisfy yourself. Give him your hand to kiss, my dear. You didn't believe me, did you? I'll prove it to you beyond a doubt.
It's weird. Unbelievable. Forgive me here, Doctor, but I find it difficult to realize you've chosen your own wife for this dreadful experiment.
I had already experimented with various subjects. Lazarus, who brought you in, was one of them. And what greater destiny could my wife have achieved than to serve me? And through me, our country.
That is so.
I shall take her there. and demonstrate the zombies must obey their master. Against an army of zombies, no armies could stand. Why, even blown half to bits, undaunted by fire and gas, zombies would fight on so long as the brain cells which receive and execute commands still remained intact.
Oh. No. No.
Watch this. Your brain works then independently of mine. Go back. I must make still another experiment. Apparently I've succeeded too well this time. I must now paralyze certain portions of the brain so that my subjects can neither question nor reason, only hear and obey. Then at last we'll have an army perfect for our purpose.
When will you be prepared to come, then?
I'll let you know. I shan't need more than a day or two. I have already a subject close at hand. When I've dealt with him, my discovery will be perfected. Lazarus will take you back where he found you.
Lazarus. Oh, yes. In the Bible. He rose from the dead. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. I had no opportunity last night to speak to you about your sister's estate.
I can guess what you want to tell me. She left nothing to me.
On the contrary, she left everything to you.
To me?
And I believe her fortune was rather large.
No.
She wished to have the will drawn in this way, and I offered no objection. After all, I'm a wealthy man.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. You're just trying to...
You'd be rather concerned, Mr. Adams.
Naturally, I'm concerned. I am not Mr. Adams. I'm Scott Warrington.
I suspected that from the first. You distrusted me from what you heard of me. Oh, I can understand.
Would it be possible for us to see your wife's will?
Surely, as a detective, you know that such a procedure would be unusual. However, I'll see if I can find it for you.
Madam Von Alterman's body's gone.
You're responsible for this outrage. What have you done with her? Tell me.
I know nothing about it.
For a long time, you've been attempting to interfere in my affairs. When my wife was ill, able to see no one, you created a scene here. You sent for Wellington and his friend, the detective. What do you think? What do you want? What do you expect to accomplish?
Dr. Keating had nothing to do with this. We've all been together since we left this room last night. If you really don't know anything about the disappearance of the body, I suggest you notify the police.
No, that would mean most unpleasant publicity. I'll investigate this matter myself.
If the body doesn't turn up, there can't be any funeral.
Exactly. I'm afraid we've wasted time in coming here. Unless you, Scott, insist on calling in the police.
I will if we don't find out what's become of her.
You must know something. You're always underfoot, listening and watching. You must have seen or heard something.
I ain't seen nothing and I ain't heard nothing.
Nothing. Less than nothing.
You sure you don't know where she is, Master? You sure you can't guess?
Well, would I be asking you if I knew?
Well, you might, Master, if you wanted to pretend you didn't know. All I can tell you is that the doors and windows were barred on the inside. So no one on the outside could have gotten into this house during the night.
Someone on the inside raised the bars, though, because when I came downstairs this morning, the front door was open a little.
Lazarus, go out and search the grounds.
Yes, Master.
Kind of creepy. When the dead walks of its own will, no telling what they'll do next.
Go out and gather me some swamp lilies. Bring them to my laboratory at once.
Yes, Master.
Now, what do he want with swamp lilies?
I reckon he's got a use for 'em. You and Jeff better go fetch him some.
Go fetch him some.
And when you goes to pull the blooms, don't put your fingers to your mouth, for the juice from them lilies is rank poison.
Or we'll go poison. Rosella, you go by yourself. See, one's company and two's a crowd. I'm gonna stay here with Mammy Beulah.
And the worst of it is, you don't know when it gets you. You has no pain. You just gets license until you just dozes off.
Hey, is that the way that Mr. Scott's sister died?
One died that way.
What are you going to do? Just stand around here and wait for something to turn up?
Yep. No use running around in circles just to look busy.
How about getting some air? It'll do us all good.
All right. Anything is better than just standing around here.
Coming?
No, I think I'll just stick around here for the present.
I see. Only remember, I didn't bring you along just for the ride.
This here swamp's a mighty queer place. Lots of folks has died here.
Sure enough?
You got to take care of where you step so you isn't sucked in. I expect there's lots of bodies in this here swamp.
You don't say.
Ain't I telling you? Strangers that wanders through here is gone before they can call for help. And the more they struggle, the quicker they sink.
No. Ah! Help! Go to me! Come now! Somebody come get me! Talk to me! Good gracious of me! What happened? Good. Now look at there.
Curious, no one has sent flowers or turned up to sympathize. Haven't they heard about Lila's death in the neighborhood around here?
Yes, of course. News travels fast in a district like this where not very much happens.
Well, then why haven't any other friends turned up?
They hadn't any friends. Von Alterman didn't encourage visitors, and Lila was never interested in the local gentry anyway.
Do you mean to say they never saw anyone but each other and the servants?
Oh, Lila used to go into New Orleans now and then on prolonged visits.
It was a strange life for a girl as young as Lila. Was she happy, do you think?
I don't know. What's that?
It's hers, the one she was wearing.
You might take it back to Von Alterman. I will look about here.
We agreed not to lose touch with one another while we're stuck in this place.
I'll follow you back in 10 minutes. I promise, absolutely.
Okay.
Come in, Dr. Keating.
Surprise! Not only does Dr. Van Alderman kill his wife, he turns her into a zombie. And I don't think it's because he wants to spend the rest of eternity with her either. I think it's because now that he's perfected the way to make people into zombies, he sees the opportunity to make the little woman silent, obedient, and bulletproof, just like the rest of them. Boy, was he wrong. Not only is she not silent and not obedient, she has the gall to leave him. Who knew that a Nazi zombie movie would have feminist undertones? So now that Lila's out of the picture, Van Alderman can focus on his secretary, Jennifer, who's played by Gail Storm of the My Little Margie series. However, Larry the detective also kind of has eyes for Jennifer. So we'll see how that plays out. My money's on the detective. Now Jeff the chauffeur, he's also got some romantic notions about the maid Rosella when he's not freaked out by zombies and quicksand and bodies that keep disappearing. So could this movie also be called a romantic movie? Deadly, Deadly, where have you been and why are you dressed that way? Dr. Van Alderman needed someone for target practice and he couldn't find his wife.
Here it is.
At last.
To my dearly beloved husband, Max Heinrich von Alterman, I give and bequeath all my estate, both real and personal. You know, I shouldn't have shown you this. It's a breach of confidence.
So that's the will she signed. Her last will and testament. Are you absolutely certain?
Oh, absolutely. I witnessed it before the notary who came with the attorney.
Then Von Alterman lied to throw us off the scent.
Lied?
He told us the will was in Scott's favor. He must have known we'd find out the truth in a couple of days. And he's much too slick to get himself into a jam like that without a pretty good reason.
Perhaps he was only testing Mr. Warrington.
How's that?
Perhaps he thought Mr. Warrington wasn't so grieved about his sister's death as anxious about her estate.
It's more than likely that he deliberately tried to bamboozle us just in case we were getting suspicious.
You know, you're wrong about Dr. von Alterman. You've misjudged him completely.
Are you being loyal or dumb? Or are you just covering up for him?
You say you're a detective. Find out.
What, you want a match? Wow! The road leak. Don't look. Good.
What you see there?
A call.
Oh.
I don't know whose it is, and they can't tell me, and I ain't gonna stay here long enough to ask. Let's go down to the house and tell the folks.
It's hers, isn't it? Lila's. She was wearing it.
Perhaps. I'll inquire.
Well, what's the matter with you now?
I just saw a corpse down by the swamp.
A corpse? You don't by any chance mean Madame von Alterman's body?
No, sir, a strange he-corpse.
A he-corpse?
Yes, sir, and he's been shot long, deep, wide, and consecutive. There it is, right here, Mr. Larry. Well, it was here.
Are you sure you saw it, Jeff? You're not just seeing things again, are you?
I'm seeing things, but it's things that I don't want to see.
Well, it's not here now. That's plain enough.
Looking for something?
Oh, yeah, a murdered corpse.
Don't think a murderer would leave his victim here, do you? And the swamp close enough to conceal the evidence?
No, it doesn't seem likely, does it?
I reckon he came around the same way of thinking, too.
What's the matter with them? Drive them on. Go after them.
This line's dead.
Perhaps the storm last night blew down the wires.
Is anything wrong?
Yes, Dr. Keating is missing.
Missing? Since when?
I left him out on the grounds over an hour ago, and he said he'd follow me right back in. He hasn't turned up.
A little early to be concerned, isn't it?
I don't think so. Have you found out what happened to Lila's body?
No, not yet.
Well, I want the police notified without any more delay. Now, will you do it, or shall I?
I'll telephone at once if you wish.
Well, you can't do that, Dr. von Alterman. I'm sorry, the telephone isn't working.
Something really should be done about those wires. I'll send a message to the sheriff.
And tell him I'll give him half an hour to get here.
What was that?
Sounded like Def's voice.
The call.
Another one?
No, sir, the same one again. I recognize the lady on his arm. Come, and come quick.
Where is it?
In your car. And he was in no condition to drive.
I want you to bring enough men to search this whole district and find my sister's body. I want you to locate Dr. Keating, too.
I got you. Think you can handle it, Sheriff?
You bet I can handle it. And don't overlook Dr. von Alterman. I feel pretty sure he's at the bottom of this whole thing. Okay. How would you like to proceed?
I'd better start by giving this Heine the once-over.
I'll get him.
Of course, you won't let Dr. von Alterman know we suspect him.
Don't worry about that. Just leave everything to me.
You know the sheriff, of course.
Yes, I think we've met.
I believe we have.
Perhaps you'd like to look over the house.
I sure would, thoroughly. I want to see the room where she lived, the chapel where her body disappeared from, and
Also Dr. Keating's room.
Come with me, I'll show you. You, of course, understand why I had to suggest this masquerade. They insisted that I send for the police, and I had no alternative.
It's a pleasure to serve you in any way here, Doctor.
I must congratulate you upon your excellent impersonation.
We are taught to be efficient here, Doctor.
Now we have to play their game.
Aren't you going to keep an eye on him?
Why, don't you trust him either?
Sure, but I think you ought to keep an eye on him just the same. He seems to know his business. Maybe you can learn something.
Thanks. Maybe I can. Meatless Tuesday.
BRG calling SSX. BRG calling SSX. BRG calling SSX.
Come in, BRG. SSX receiving. Come in, BRG.
U.S. agent investigating our activities is already on your trail. Better prepare to leave midnight tonight. Repeat for confirmation and answer.
SSX repeating message from BRG. U.S. agent investigating our activities. He is already on your trail. Answer. We'll be ready. Have you any further instructions?
Please say the arrangements are understood and agreed to. Seize and bang him.
So you're in this too, Sheriff?
But I'm not the sheriff, Hereat. And that U.S. operative, I've already taken care of him.
The vanishing corp, eh?
Search him.
That is all, Master.
Gag and bind him.
I didn't believe there could be zombies. See, now I was wrong. Wrong about you too, Herr Professor.
I'm afraid your information has come too late to do you much good, my friend. Place him in here. My plans didn't really include you, but I can use you just as easily.
That'll be just well.
I'm afraid you won't find it very comfortable in there, but I promise you will not suffer long. Go back.
Go down cellar and fetch me up some strawberry preserves, Rosella.
Jeff can go.
Sure, where will I find him?
When you get down there on the right. Not your left, mind you, but your right.
Sure, I'll get him.
This ain't Jeff's spirit, and I don't know no Jeff.
Yeah, it's Mr. Adams. I'm locked in.
But why didn't you say that?
Thanks, boy. You came in the nick of time.
Who locked you in there, him?
Well, it was his brother, the professor. Come on, Charlie, back in the box.
You sure don't find the strangest people to hang out with. What you gonna do with him?
He belongs in there.
We sure do. Mr. Larry, let's leave here. Every time you say something ain't gonna happen, something happens again.
Just take it easy, Jeff. Be calm, like me. What's that?
Put that down. Why, that's that stuff that Rosella got out of the swamps. It's poison.
Poison?
Oh, Mammy Beulah, preparing a good dinner for our guests?
Nothing special.
Oh, but I particularly wanted something special tonight.
You know I don't want nobody messing around in my kitchen when I was cooking. I told you that the night your wife took sick.
I remember, Mammy Beulah. A coincidence, no?
I'm always running into that fella. Anyone else likely to come in here for a minute?
There sure is. Rosella's next door setting up the table, and Lazarus down the cellar fetching up the wine.
But I must talk to you, Mammy Beulah. Jeff tells me you know all about this swamp lily poison.
Don't ask me nothing, mister.
You know, I've been studying you, Mammy Beulah. I don't think you're in this with Von Alderman at all.
That I ain't. That man's in league with the devil.
Well, then tell me. What do you think he's done with the body of his wife?
What he done?
What's so funny about that?
He ain't done nothing with her. That's what gets him so panicky. She just walked away.
How do you mean, walked away?
He done made her to walk. And she walked, but not where he meant for her to go. Always he tells them what to do, and it doesn't. But not Miss Lila. She goes her own way, living or dead.
Where do you think she went?
I don't rightfully know. But I reckon I could find her. Does you want to see her?
I can't say as I really want to, but I think I should.
Rosella, keep your eyes on things here till I gets back. I reckon nothing won't go wrong. Unless it's already come, Mr. Usher. Miss Lila, honey. Miss Lila?
Did you hear that? Will she come?
I think so, when she hears my voice.
Can you hear me? Can you understand?
Who are you? He is a friend of your brother's, Missy.
You guard my brother until midnight. Then I'll be ready.
Don't worry about him. What can we do for you? How can we help you?
No one can help me so long as he lives. Only his death can release the zombie.
You mean Von Alterman?
Yes.
I don't know what your plan is, but if it has anything to do with vengeance, we might act together.
So apparently Dr. Van Alderman wants to eliminate his wife so that he can swoop in on his beautiful, naive secretary. I think he also wants to get rid of his wife because he's the beneficiary of her will. Wait a minute. If Lila is undead and not really dead, does that negate her will? I mean, is there a clause in the Louisiana probate court for zombies? And not only is Lila disappeared and some unknown dead body keep disappearing, but now Dr. Keating has disappeared. But he didn't have a very big part to start with, and apparently nobody seems to care. But Dr. Van Alderman does call the sheriff to come and try to find his wife. Anybody else think that that sheriff looks a lot like that Nazi guy that came and visited Van Alderman a little while ago? So the Van Alderman brings his bloodhounds and gives them a scarf that had belonged to Lila, but they can't find her scent. I wonder why. Well, it could be that zombies don't smell the same as when they were alive. And then Detective Larry gets caught when he discovers the Nazi radio in the cupboard. And they tie him up and they throw him in the closet with the skeleton. Luckily, Jeff happens by and lets him out. And then Larry gets Mammy Beulah to call in Lila from wherever she was in the crypt. And they plan on what they're going to do about Dr. Van Alderman. And I can betcha it's a whole lot worse than divorce. This zombie lady is bent on revenge. Deadly. Who's that? His name is Charlie, and he just came out of the closet. You guys need a minute?
Thank you.
Or perhaps you prefer whiskey or sherry, anything you like.
Thanks very much. Whatever you take will be quite all right with me.
You know, I find this mixture, which I invented myself, to be an excellent stimulant for the digestion. Sheriff?
Thanks, Doc.
We shan't wait for your friend.
Well, I can't imagine what's happened to them. It beats me the way they disappear one by one.
To you, my dear brother-in-law, may your visit to me be a longer one than you intended.
Thank you.
A charming sentiment. May I join you? I'm sorry to be so late, but I got tied up and had a little trouble getting free.
I hope you will feel that the effort was worthwhile.
Oh, I shall, since you make it so plain that you value my society. Potent, isn't it?
I hope so. Cocktails are supposed to be, aren't they?
Not too potent, or one might not enjoy one's dinner.
Oh, you'll enjoy your dinner tonight, I promise you that. I saw to it personally.
Master, dinner is served.
Thank you. Oh, Miss Rand will sit there.
Yes, Master.
No, please, not there.
I find my wife's empty seat too distressing.
Yes, I can understand that.
Still, it's pretty soon to replace her, isn't it?
Please.
Certainly, if you wish.
Mr. Scott, please. Mr. Adams. Sheriff? The sooner one adjusts oneself to the inevitable, the better, don't you think?
I'm glad you feel that way. It might save trouble later.
Trouble? What trouble, may I ask?
I have a feeling there'll be further developments before midnight.
Curious. I have the same feeling. Leave us. I'll ring when we wish coffee. What is it, my dear?
If you'll excuse me, I think I'll try and get some rest. I had rather a disturbed night last night.
I'm sorry. Of course.
Good night.
Good night. You must try this port. I'm sure you won't find anything like it anywhere in America. I brought it from Spain myself. I was very young at the time and naturally anxious not to make a fool of myself. I remember one day walking for hours in the Ludwigstrasse, trying to make up my mind.
Wait a minute. I oughtn't to feel groggy like this.
Groggy? However, in the end, basing my conclusions on the experiments of Androssi in Vienna, I injected the serum into the body of a tramp.
You've doped us.
I'm afraid, my friend, this time you have indeed been caught napping. Lazarus, carry this one to the laboratory and prepare him. He'll be better for my purpose. Keep an eye on the other one till the breathing stops.
Yes, sir, Doctor.
I won't be long.
Jeff, Rosella, Mammy Buell, some coffee, please, at once. Not a cup, but a whole quart. And hurry if we're to save a man's life. You can put the gun away, Adams. So he didn't catch you napping after all.
Who are you? United States agent?
You've guessed it. It was the real foreign agent who was the vanishing corpse. I had a little trouble with him, and he got the worst of it. But everywhere I hid the body, Jeff found it.
How did you know coffee was the antidote?
He told me. How do you know?
Mammy Beulah told me. Before I go after Scott, did you find any trace of Keating?
No, I didn't.
You think Von Altman did away with him?
Perhaps.
Dr. Von Alterman.
We're leaving here at midnight.
But why should we leave here? I don't understand.
My work will be completed by then. There'll be no further reason for delay. You better begin packing at once, but take only the barest necessities.
Dr. Von Alterman. Peter, Herr Doctor. Open, please, quickly. Von Alterman.
But where are we going?
Home, to my country.
To Europe?
In my country I shall be exalted among the greatest men in history. Do you hear? In this glorious future you shall have a part. You will be the most envied woman in the new world.
I don't know what to say. I didn't know or even guess any of this. I couldn't have stayed here if I had.
You've grown up in the wrong environment, been taught to think the wrong thoughts. All that will be altered.
But I don't want it altered.
We can't waste any more time. We'll have to break the door down. Think you can find an axe?
I'll try mighty hard. There's nothing else that I'd rather have in my hand right now.
We'll get going then.
Not me. I ain't gonna budge out of this spot. I might find something more than axe.
Come on, we'll all go then. If there isn't an axe handy, we might find something else to do the job.
No. No, I won't go.
I have told you there's no other course open to you.
But you can't take me against my will. Not with Mr. Warrington and Mr. Adams to prevent it. I'll go to them and ask their help.
Go to them. You'll find they're in no condition to help you or themselves. The servants will do as I bid them. This house is cut off from the outside world. You'll go with me, willingly or unwillingly, that's certain. It's up to you to make your choice. We leave within the hour.
Oh, Larry.
The door just opened and closed down there.
He just went down. He told me you...
Never mind. He could only tell you what he knew. Come on. Let's go. We'll have to find Scott.
Still beating.
What is it? Who's there?
Open up, Professor.
Lazarus, sound the call.
I'll lend a hand if you like.
No, sir, Mr. Ladder. I sure am enjoying this. Stand back, ladies. Oh, boy. I've been wanting to come here for a long time.
Where are they? Why don't they come?
Back up against the wall and put up your hand.
I've been after you a long time, Professor.
So?
And find them. I say halt! You hear me? I say halt! Halt! Halt!
Halt! It is finished. All the powers of light are ranged against you.
You dare to set your will against mine?
I do. You can't hurt me. You can't destroy me. You can't control me. Seize and bind him.
Miss Lila.
Stop! Lila! Stop! Lila! Don't, Lila! Stop, Lila! No, Lila, don't! I love you, Lila! I didn't say I can't say Lila! Lila! No!
Sorry you can't drive back with us.
He's got to stay on a few days to settle things up here.
I guess that's right. But Jennifer's in a hurry to go. Otherwise, we'd wait for you.
You understand, don't you?
Of course.
And when I get you to Harlem, I'm going to get you a good job, a swell one. And if you just save your money, mean you can get married.
If I get the swell job, honey, I don't need to get married.
Oh, come on, let's go.
So there you have it, another monochromatic movie marvel and full of creepy zombies and weird Nazi science and 1930s not politically correct dialogue. This movie teaches me that old school zombies are really boring, even the ones that talk. It also teach me that if you're a lady zombie or a housemaid, don't let the man of the house boss you around and tell you you have to be married. So until next time, or not, this is Arachna of the Spider People, wishing you nighty-night and reminding you that if you put your dog out at night and you call him back by going woo, more than your dog could come back to you. Mr. Zambezi, this is quite a surprise. Deadly's Uncle Sid died several years ago. How come you're waiting till now to tell us that he inherited half of his uncle's business in Louisiana?
Well, Miss Arachna, there were some issues with the probate court, and there were also some issues with the workers. You see, Mr. Sidney was a brilliant inventor, but he wasn't a very good businessman, and he wasn't very good with the workers. He left that up to his partner, Mr. Thibodeau.
Uncle Sid was an inventor? What did he invent?
Well, for one thing, he invented the Keep 'em Dead coffin. I'll take you down to the workshop after we've signed the papers, and you can see what's going on there. And I gotta say, Mr. Deadly, you are the spitting image of your Uncle Sidney.
The Keep 'em Dead coffin? Aren't they dead when you put them in the coffin and then still dead when you put them in the ground? Dead is dead, right?
Well, you'd think so, miss. But sometimes down here we've got problem with them coming back. And Mr. Sidney, he invented something that prevented them from coming back. Hence the name, Keep 'em Dead coffin.
Yikes! Do you mean what I think you mean? Zombies? Oh no, Deadly's not signing anything until you explain what he would be getting into if he signed this deed of ownership.
Okay then, let's go down to the workshop. It's just down the street, and you can see what's going on there.
So Deadly, did Uncle Sid ever tell you about his coffin business? No. Well, I can see why. I mean, it is a touchy subject. Mr. Zambezi, is this a problem down here, the zombies?
Yes, ma'am. Ever since the pandemic, those what walk around have gotten faster and more aggressive. And you know that coffin that Mr. Sidney invented was keeping them in check. Now, Mr. Thibodeau, he's getting up in years, and he just can't stand to deal with the unions anymore, and that's why we thought Mr. Deadly could come on down and run the place.
Unions? The dead what walk around are unionized? Yikes, Deadly, picketing zombies. Now I've seen everything. Deadly, don't encourage them. Hey, you, back off. Keep your hands to yourself.
Quick, inside. The workers are pretty angry, and you don't want the Walking Dead to have their revenge on you. G'day, Mr. Thibodeau. I see that you have a scab that has broke the picket lines so that you can still make coffins during the strike. Howdy. Yep, he's my newly departed brother Ralph, not yet indoctrinated into the Union. I need to keep factory production up. I've got orders out the yin-yang and nobody to do the work. I'm getting too old for this. Well, Mr. Thibodeau, can you show these people around and show them how these coffins are made so that Deadly can make up his mind if he wants to run the place? So this is Sid's nephew, Deadly? What happened to him? He doesn't look strong enough to hammer anything.
Hey, Deadly's perfectly healthy. Or rather, he's perfectly capable of doing lots of things.
Settle down, miss. This business is easier than you think. Once the zombies come back, they do all the work. And we don't have to advertise, and the orders just roll in. It's a very profitable business.
Look it, we just came down here to see what Uncle Sid left Deadly. We're not planning to move here and run a business. Right, Deadly? Deadly? Where'd you go, Deadly? Oh, Deadly? What are you doing back there?
Mr. Thibodeau, you have our demands. And if you do not comply by midnight, you will have an army of unhappy workers beating down your door.
Madam, I have tried to explain to you many times that the law will not allow us to pay your union workers without proof of residency or proof of life.
Try harder, or you'll be sorry.
We have spoken.
I will not be intimidated by zombies.
Who's that?
They never used to complain, but then this voodoo lady got involved and organized it.
Well, can't you just end the strike and get them back to work? What do they want? What's that banging?
What do they want? They want to be treated like live workers. I mean, without Social Security and a green card, I can't legally pay them. And giving them money, I mean, as mad as they are, they'll probably go out and buy guns. What with the open carry law and all the gun shows around here, not a good idea.
What's that banging? Deadly, is that you? Are you in the coffin? Deadly's trapped in the coffin. How do you open this thing?
What's going on back here?
Help! Somebody get him out of here!
Oh, that's not good.
You built this coffin. You put it together. You can take it apart.
Once that locking mechanism is armed, there's no getting out of there. I mean, Mr. Sidney's genius was to keep whatever's in a coffin in the coffin.
Somebody do something. Oh.
And unfortunately, Mr. Sidney took the combination to that lock with him to the grave.
Deadly! Hold on, Deadly. We'll get you out. Do something. Okay. Get him out.
Ralph, get the chainsaw.
Where's he going? Is he going into the swamp? Stop the conveyor belt. Why is there a conveyor belt?
Well, that's the second part of our business. After we put him in the coffin, then we put the coffin in the swamp, and then the quicksand double guarantees they're not coming back up.
Deadly! I'm coming. Somebody help! Stop the conveyor belt! No! 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 Oh, that was a close call, Deadly. You were almost chomped in half by an alligator. You know their bite force is the strongest of any animal on the planet. No wonder they're able to chop those coffins in half. I wonder if that's why they're coming back up. They're getting chomped by alligators. No thanks on the business. Uncle Sid was a great guy, but we're not interested in being in the zombie business.